I think that anyone who has questions can either put them in the chat or just unmute themselves.
Sorry, I have to stop.
I see a hand is raised.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tomer, would you
Yes.
like to? Yes, please go
Yes,
ahead.
thank you. So thank you for this very interesting talk. My question is a bit more general, but this is an excellent example. And that is, I was wondering, why isn't copyrights being used as an attack strategy to avoid these cases? So the entire analysis here is from a data protection point of view, but almost everything you described can be used to build a copyright violation argument. And then that would allow for maybe civil enforcement rather than criminal enforcement.
Well, copyright actually enforcement can also lead to criminal enforcement and not civil enforcement. You can have the two aspects. But about copyright, maybe what I can explain better is that if you take an image of a photograph, because this is a very good example. So a photograph can be copyrightable depending on the jurisdiction. But if it represents as well individuals, these individuals that are representing in a photograph, they have also data protection rights on this image. And it's not because you will release them under a copyright license that you actually, because who is releasing the image? The image is the copyright holder, but it's not necessarily the person represented on the image who is the copyright holder. So there is this distinction, and I think we cannot actually use copyright for this type of use. It's a different topic, but I've seen many times, and in technical papers as well, that that researchers said that they constituted a database and they only use images, special images, that were made available under Creative Commons licenses. But there is a confusion here regarding the scope as well. So I don't know if this answers your question, but I think we should not confuse the copyright issue with the data protection issue.
No, I'm not confusing them. That was an answer as to why data privacy is relevant here, which I agree, but I think that copyright is also, so definitely by repurposing the hash functions thing, then they are creating derivatives. So there is someone whose copyrights have been violated, and now we need to find that person.
But this is a very technical question as well. But okay, to be copyrightable, you need originality, and I'm not sure that a mathematical representation, a formula, cannot be copyrighted. So I don't think that you could apply, if I understood your question, I don't think that you could apply copyright to the hash vector. Is it what you meant? What you mean?
Well, let's say okay. So I got an answer.
Okay,
Thank you.
but I think that's a nice question that you asked. But it's about the mathematical representation, and that's a different topic for copyright scope as well. I see as well that Sophie, if you want to ask your question, I don't know, or you want me to read your question.
Catherine, you can go ahead.
Yes. Yes. So Sophie said that there were indications that police officers use the database to identify suspects. So that's true, and the the investigation by BuzzFeed the News. Can something be done starting from data protection law? Yes, because as I say, from a data protection law, you need to have a legal ground to use this database, and currently there is no legal ground, there is no specific that will allow a police officer to use these images, and I think that the test of strict necessity will apply as well. regarding the use by police law officers. And what I want to say is that different spokesperson from the police, they explain that some police officer tried the technologies, but that it was not structural and that they didn't have any legal ground as well to do that. But Sophie, if you want to, if you have something else in mind, let me know. But there is currently, I think, no legal ground for that, for using this database, and most likely this is unlawful as well. Yes, so Matthias, I think that's yes. So the DPA issue a pan-European order that prohibits processing of EU citizens' data. Yes, I totally agree with you. How could such an order be enforced? I know that Matthias, if you want, you can speak if you wish. I didn't mention your name because your name was redacted from the order. But I totally agree with you. I didn't address the question of enforcement. How do we enforce a decision has been taken again an entity is not represented in the EU? Well, you need to have a cooperation from local authorities. It means in the US. So I don't know if it's going to happen. I hope that it will happen. We don't have such an order yet, but I hope that this will happen, because you see that there are several as well complaints and legal proceedings, including in the United States. So there is also a ground for a judge to maybe apply an order from data protection authorities from the EU, but it's based on international law and on cooperation. So I don't have as well a good answer on this, but I hope that the more legal actions we will have at worldwide level, the easier it will be to enforce the decision against Clearview AI. Lennart, you ask if Clearview AI is making serious amount of money. That's a very good question. I don't know that. I would assume that it's the case. They are doing that for profit. It's not a free app that is made available to law enforcement authorities. The fact that they are hiring, I think that's an indication as well that maybe they are making a lot of money. Plus the fact that they don't seem to feel by the different action that have started everywhere. It's also maybe an indication that they make a lot of money. But I cannot tell you. I didn't investigate this part. And then the second question is about the highest possible fines. This is also a very good question, because it's a fine per infringement. So I think it's up to 20 million per infringement, but I cannot tell you how it will be calculated. This I don't know. I also don't know, because it's not a question that I've investigated on the financial part as well as the fines. But once again, it will be. Yes, sorry, it starts to be.
Sorry,
Maybe
Capri.
late. No, I'm just finished with Lennart.
I think what Lennart is asking.
Cooperation for the fine. Yes.
I think what Lennart is asking, and what I was also wondering, is that even if we do have a coordinated action with the highest possible fines, could it be that they just assume the cost in the same way, for instance, as Facebook or Google might be accepting really, really high fines, but they kind of remedy and move on?
Well, there are some rules in the GDPR, but I think that at the end of the day, it will be a negotiation on the fine. But I cannot tell you. Normally, you have to list all the infringements that are committed, and of course, it's infringements as well per user. So I cannot tell you how this will be calculated. This is an excellent question. I don't have this and I haven't worked on this specific issue. If anyone has an idea, it's an interesting question. Of course, for law enforcement authorities, it's different. You don't have similar provision in the lead, and I don't know how the Swedish authority calculated the it's the police use. It's not running Clearview AI. So it's a good question, but I don't have any knowledge on the calculation on these fines. The company actually should shut down its business because it's completely illegal. It's not only a question of fine; it's a question that the business should not be sustained.
Yes, thank you. But then do you think that would it be perhaps easier to stop the law enforcement authorities on the basis of the directive from using it, or to stop the company itself on the basis of the GDPR then?
Well,
the very theoretical.
Yes, the directive will not apply to the company. It will apply only to the processed by law enforcement
authorities.
Yes. The GDPR, yes. Also, Lennart, you're absolutely right. Can we shut down? I have to admit that the problem is once you release as well images online, you know, it's like the right to be forgotten. The right to be forgotten is not actually the right to have your images deleted. It's just a right to have your images delinked. They are not linked anymore to a specific website, but you can ensure that the images will never appear again. So I don't know, and if we shut them down, they could appear underground. Well, I hope then that the law enforcement authority will not use them, but who knows, maybe authorities from non-democratic countries could be tempted as well to use this kind of database. I think that here it has created a big problem, the constitution of this database. And I don't have a solution how to solve the problem with all these images that they collected. And of course, I'm looking forward to your suggestion if you have any.
Catherine, I completely agree with you that it's very difficult, and perhaps hopefully with more and more coordinated actions, we see some more results.
True that it might be the enforcement you are fine, and then I don't know. If someone is specialized in criminal law, could you consider some criminal proceedings against the founder of the company?
I think that would be very difficult, as Sophie is saying, on the basis of trying to make criminal evidence unlawful way of collecting evidence. I would find that quite difficult, though I'm not a criminal lawyer. I do have some connection problems. I could not hear you too well towards the end. I don't know if others also have this, but I also see that the time is finishing, so I don't know if there are some more questions from the audience, or if we are concluding here.
So I'm actually happy to work further on this. It's not my research, Clearview AI, but I'm happy to collaborate with other researchers on this, because it's an issue which goes beyond the legal issues that we are dealing with usually. So if to try to find solutions as well, that could be very interesting.
Yes, definitely. I see some people are typing, but I think it's more to congratulate you on this very informative talk. I am not sure where the recording will be, but it will be made available on the CIF webpage, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much once again, and to the audience for the discussion, and we will stay in touch.
Thank you
all.
everyone.
Bye.